Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I am super excited to be with you this evening. I hope you can hear me loud and clear as you come in the room. I'm going to ask you to drop your name in the chat. Let me know where you're streaming from. Let me know where you're watching me from so I can give you a proper hello. I am hoping and praying that my internet will work with me today because there are times when it gives me a little bit of trouble while I am using StreamYard. So I hope that is not the case today because I have a really exciting training, mini training, tips and techniques and tools that I want to share with you today. So, as you come on in, viewers, say hello. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear because I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics in the writing space, and that is anthologies. Anthologies. A lot of people do anthologies. A lot of authors get their start in anthologies, but there is so much more to anthologies. And I want to just touch on some of the important pieces of the anthology, right? So before I get into that, let me introduce myself to you properly. For those that are new to my Facebook group, Books to Business and Beyond, and if you're out there watching on YouTube, hello, hello, hello to you. It is Wednesday afternoon, and I want to pop in on Writing Wednesday to share some tips and techniques with you. So, again, as you're coming on, if you're hearing me, if you're seeing me, drop your name in the chat. Let me know where you're streaming from. And if you're watching this from the replay, just hashtag replay and same thing. Let me know where you're streaming from. So I'm Joan T. Randall. I am the founder of Victorious You Press and the creator of the Books to Business and Beyond model. We help spiritual thought leaders and individuals of faith to write and publish their bestseller, which means we take the guesswork out of the writing process, we take the fear out of publishing, and we empower individuals to use their book, to use a pen, leverage their expertise, everything that they know, their lived experience, their knowledge, and their expertise, and create a book for the marketplace that will solve a problem or benefit someone's life. So that is what we do. And we are now doing Writing Wednesday. Last week, we talked a little bit about the whole purpose of writing and with artificial intelligence, how you can use artificial intelligence to enhance your writing and to give you ideas where your writing is concerned. So, if you did not see that one last week, you can go to YouTube at Victorious You Press and you can check that out on the playlist that says Writing Wednesday. All right. So I want to talk about anthologies, right? It is one of my favorite things. We may do this over a 2-week period only because our Writing Wednesdays, it's really just a short snapshot of a conversation. So I'm not going to be before you long, no longer than a half hour. And by the way, if you would like to join me on Writing Wednesday because you're an author, you have written a book, you're writing a book, you want to get ideas on a book, I would love for you to join me here so that we can have this discussion about the world of writing and the changes that are happening in writing and all the things now that you can do without truly picking up a pen, but still become an author. All right. So let's talk about this anthologies. What is an anthology? We hear it talked about so many times, so often. But what is anthology and what is an anthology and what is the purpose? So I'm going to share my screen for a moment and hopefully you can see this, you can rock with me and you can get it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my little PowerPoint slide that I did for you so that we can talk about anthology. All right. So an anthology is a collection of selected writings by various authors and usually several stories of writings in the same literary form of the same period or of the same content, of the same theme, of the same idea. So that's what an anthology is, just a group of people coming together, sharing ideas that is pertinent to the subject matter of what the anthology is about, right? It's a trend nowadays. There's a lot of people that are getting involved in anthology, and I love that. Why? Because they are quick reads for each author, right? There's some anthology projects that will have as little as 5 people and as much as 100 people, 300 people. I was a part of an anthology project that had 365 prayers. Okay. So you have them as large as 350 people that is submitting a written piece of work to an anthology project. And then you have it as low as maybe only 5 people submitting a body of work for a particular book with one centralized theme. What I love about it is that readers who get these anthologies and who are reading it can read in bite size, right? If they so choose, they can read each author's story, especially if they know one or two or a few of the authors that is in the book, right? If they are purchasing to support the authors or the visionary authors or any one of the co-authors, chances are when they get that anthology book, they're going to go to the chapter that their friend or colleague or someone that they know wrote. So that's what I love about anthologies. You can read based on who you want to read first. You can look through the agenda, not the agenda, but the table of contents, and based on the title of one of the co-authors' stories, you can choose to read a story that resonates with you first. Unlike a book that just have a story in it, you have to read from beginning to end to kind of get, the hook, the body, the resolution, and the conclusion from that story. But in an anthology, in that one individualized chapter, it's a overview of her story or her thoughts or his story. So it gives the reader more of a you know more of a selection is the word I'm looking for. More of a selection to read, a number of stories and digest those. Also, an anthology is a great gifting option to your book lover friend. If you have someone that just loves to read, an anthology is a great way to gift it to them, again, because of the stories. And since there are plenty of stories in an anthology, your friend will never be disappointed. So that's the overview of an anthology. It is just a collection of story, a collaborative event, a collaborative book that has several authors, and usually the highlight of the book is based on a specific theme. There are times when you can have an anthology that is just a one and done. Why? Because that subject matter, the idea, the topic that the visionary author is referencing, it's just that, right? And so the anthology, once that book is written and published and it gets out into the public, that's it, right? But there are times when there is so much more that needs to be said, or there is a situation where there is an additional perspective, an additional view, an additional ideas, additional concept, in which an anthology can have a series. So you could have volume one or series one, series two, series three, right? And so you have like a trilogy effect or a 1-2 effect or a 1-2-3-4 effect, right? So there are times when anthologies doesn't just have to be a one and done. There can be a series. Does it is it better? Is it not? It's just up to the writer. It's just up to the visionary author. It's not that it is better than you just writing a one and done. It's that you have a theme, and because you want to focus on different aspects of that theme, then you want to do it in a trilogy or book one and book two. All right. So that's the overall view of the anthology. Now, why is this good for new authors? Why is an anthology good for new authors? Well, it takes the fear out of being the only one writing a book and having to do all of the things yourself. And when I say all of the things, the marketing, the showing up, the presence, the promoting, all of it, right? So it takes that away from the individual author. What it does is you are just writing one chapter in this specific book, and now you have partners, right? So depending on how many people are in the anthology, they are your partners. And as your partner, then you know that you're not the only one that is going to be responsible for doing the promotion or doing the marketing or even talking to each other, even having Facebook Live events around the theme as you are building visibility about your book. So, you have company, so you don't feel alone. And a lot of times authors, if they're writing for the very first time, the reason why anthologies work is because they get a run and understanding of what it is like to promote a book, right? So you're learning as you're going along and you're getting the experience of what it is to market your body of work. And that's why it's great for new authors, right? It is less pressure than having to market your own book, right? It's a stepping stone for your next book. Because once you get that bug in you, I always say this, once you write your first book, whether it's your own book or it's an anthology, you want to go on, you want to keep writing, because there's something about becoming a best-selling author or becoming a published author that you want to do over and over and over again. So it is a stepping stone for what can happen in the future where books are concerned. You can build an audience for yourself by being a part of the larger body of co-authors, right? So as you are writing and doing marketing with your co-authors, you're getting exposure, you're getting exposed. And what I love about this whole thing about exposure where an anthology is concerned is that you get to now have a presence on your co-authors pages. So if it's Joan and Angie that is a part of this anthology, right? Now, Joan is not only promoting this book that she's a part of on her page, but she's tagging Angie. So now, what Joan is talking about or promoting or saying about being a part of this anthology, Angie's audience is now seeing Joan. So now you're going from Joan's audience to an addition of Angie's audience, right? And if Joan has 1,000 people in her audience and Angie has 1,000 people in her audience, Joan has now gone from 1,000 people with the probability of seeing her and getting to know her to 2,000 people because she's also a part of Angie's audience. That is the power of building an audience for yourself while being a part of the anthology. But not only that, growing that audience as well, right? So that they can see you and get exposed to you. And that is just increasing the level of eyeballs on you, or, and it builds credibility. It's also an opportunity to build confidence in your writing ability, because when you write one chapter, right, it is a little easier when the editing process gets underway for the editor to do their developmental editing and give you some idea about what to do as you are writing, right? And so it builds confidence in your writing. There are times when you're writing in an anthology for the very first time, and the editor may read it and give you feedback as to say, wow, this is great writing. And that is a confidence booster. And it helps you so that the next time when you are ready, or when you're ready to write your own book, that you feel a lot more confidence in your ability to write. your ability to disseminate the information that you have in your thoughts, your head, your mind, the story that you have had for a long time. Now you're putting it on paper and there is a flow. And even if you are not particularly a good writer, having the feedback from the author, it allows you to build on the writing skills, right? What are some of the things that you can do to improve your writing? So that's what it does also for you as a new author. And then collaborative efforts can be very rewarding, as we talked about the example with me being on my page and then also being a part of Angie's page because I'm a part of this anthology, right? And so the one more point, here is another point that I wanted to mention before I wrap it up, right? There's a lot more where this came from, but I just want to start with these three very, uh topics or points, right? What to expect in an anthology, right? So if you are an author, right, you have to understand that you are a part of a bigger picture. Again, you're a part of this group, you're a part of this tribe, you're a part of getting this information out about the subject matter or the theme of this book. So you're a part of that project. The next thing is exposure on other people's platform. This is what I did for my team. That's why it says exposure on others' platform, including mine, right? So when I do anthologies, every person that is in my anthology gets to be on my platform for promotion at some point, even whether it's an interview on VYP TV or it is a author spotlight. It's something that we're doing. It's building business, is building other things outside of just the book. How can you build a landing page and add, merchandise or products to what you're doing with your book? Also, there is a level of exposure that you can get from reaching out to people who are in that project as well to get on podcasts, Facebook live show, and I said exposure on OP, which means other people's platform. It also gives you an opportunity to do your own book launch, do your own vendor workshops, and do your own workbook. So that's the thing, right? And I'm going to stop it there for right now for this week. We'll continue next week. But that is the thing. There's so much you can do with the exposure and the collaboration and that community kind of a uh, effort with writing in a book that has multiple people. It is great. It lowers cost for you. So now instead of paying, what the going rate is for publishing, you are now paying a fraction of that because the cost is lowered because you're a part of this bigger project, right? So you get a chance to get in at a lower price point, a lower investment point, because you're part of the big picture. So it lessens the amount of investment you pay, but the return is just as great. It's just as rewarding as if you were writing your own book by yourself. So I hope this was this was good for you to kind of explain a little about the purpose of the anthology for those of you who are thinking about writing a book or have the desire to write a book. An anthology is a good way to go. I have two of my team members that are writing in anthologies right now, so I'm going to tell you that you can connect with them. Angie is writing a book about the art of womanhood. I think that's the title, Art of Womanhood, and it's for people who are 50 and older. So get with Angela and Mitchell and be a part of her anthology if you're trying to write or wanting to write and just don't know if you want to do it on your own. Go find Angie and get on her anthology. And also Nadia is also doing her own anthology as well. And her anthology is really talking about um, the the pain behind I can't remember the title, but basically it talks about this invisible illness, right? people, the beautiful face of an invisible illness is really what it is about. So people who have like lupus and sickle cell and not osteo, but my, what is it called? Um, fibromyalgia, right? And those things, diabetes, depression, anxiety, those are things that are illnesses that you can physically see, right? You can't physically see it, but there are people out here that are showing up every day at work, in their business, online, on social media, beautiful, dominating, boss babes, but inside they are dying from something that plagues them, right? So that's another anthology. That's visionary author is Nadia Monsanto. So you can get with her if that resonates with you, right? Also, before I wrap this up, for those that joined, thank you so much for joining. But as I'm wrapping this up, on next Saturday, May the 27th, it is the Pages to Profits Masterclass. This masterclass is all about writing and some of the newest techniques that is out there that you can use to write. A lot of people don't have the time to write. And so sometimes what happens is you put it on the back burner, or you put it off, for months, for years and years and years, because you cannot find the time to write. It is so easy nowadays. There's so many things that you can do. One of the things that we'll be teaching in the class on May 27th is using AI, Chat GPT, and some other tools to be able to help you with writing, right? Give it the prompts. The prompts gives you responses, and then you prompt each response again to get a deeper dive into what you can write. Now, here's the one thing I want to tell you with Chat GPT and writing a book. You cannot take all the content and copyright that book because it's not your content, right? But what I love about it is give you ideas. So you can take the ideas that they give you, but you can put your own voice to it. You can change it up. And of course, there is a specific tool that you can use to take out the parts that are um solely kind of computer generated and put your voice to it. So those are some of the things that we're going to be teaching on May the 27th. It's $47 to take that class, but it is an investment that is worth it. If you've never heard about AI or Chat GPT or some of those things, but you know that you want to be a part of it just to understand it, right? Because you want to get the wisdom, you want to get the knowledge. Don't be afraid of artificial intelligence. It is the way the world is going. So you cannot say, I'm afraid of it, it's scary, it's kind of creepy. I agree with you, but be on the side of the no, right? Be in the know, according to my girl. Be in the know so you can be able to make the decisions that's best for you and your family. Don't stay in the dark because it's a scary thing. All right. Try to get the knowledge and the understanding of what it means and how you can use it and apply it to your own life, to your own business, the things that you're doing to grow in your business. Right. So that's it for me this evening. I hope that that was well received. I hope that I came across loud and clear. I know sometimes StreamYard gives me a difficult time when I'm in my office because all of my things are downstairs and my office is upstairs, and sometimes the signal isn't right. But I hope this was good. I hope that you received this, and I will see you same time next week on Writing Wednesday. May God bless you. Have a great evening. Bye, guys.